Happy Thanksgiving weekend, fam. Recently on the show, I spent a short C-list telling our audience at home to race to the movie theaters to go see Ford vs. Ferrari. It got me thinking about my top 10 sports movies of all time. So here's my list, all of which you can watch this holiday weekend when you're chilling, not watching football, of course, or shoving your face with leftover turkey. I digress. Coming in at number 10, Raging Bull. Raging Bull, which is technically about sports, but is really about brutality and cruelty and agony, is an epic of toxic masculinity and all that it destroys, including the self. That's deep, man. The boxing scenes look nothing like actual boxing, but any boxer will tell you that they feel like that when they're boxing. The disorientation, the punishment, the blood. Robert De Niro's performance won him still his only Best Actor Oscar, a Martin Scorsese classic. It had to make my list. Narrowing this field to 10 was actually pretty difficult, Rena. At number 9, I didn't hear no bell. I didn't hear no bell. Rocky. All of the Rocky movies are outstanding, and that includes the latest chapters with the films The Creed. It is the ultimate underdog story. It's about a boxer from Philly getting a shot at the title. With the help of his trainer Mickey, his wife Adrian, his brother-in-law Paulie, and his friends, he wins the title and becomes one of the greatest fighters of all time, defeating the greats Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, Ivan Drago, and Tommy Gunn, whom he trained and loved like a son. And Mason Dixon, Rocky Balboa, comes from nothing to become one of the greatest, living up to the nickname, the Italian Stallion. From boxing to baseball, number 8 on my list of my top 10 sports movies goes to Major League, a Major League comedy. Charlie Sheen plays Ricky Vaughn, a pitcher on the Cleveland Indians, but everybody calls him Wild Thing. Ricky Vaughn starts out in jail before he gets to play for the Indians. Could easily be a true Hollywood story for Sheen. JK. A showgirl who wants to move the team to a different area is the plot twist, so in order for that to happen, there has to be poor attendance during games. So she fields the worst players that the league can offer, but they end up winning the division title anyway. This movie will always be one of the funniest sports movies of all time, well deserving on this list. Keeping it in the same realm, The Sandlot takes the 7th spot. The Sandlot is about a bunch of kids who just love to play baseball and who love to just hang out with each other. When one of them is in trouble, the whole group rallies together to help him. The movie is full of problems that the gang has to deal with, such as having to get an autographed Babe Ruth baseball that Smalls hit over the fence, where the Beast lives, and Benny the Jet Rodriguez ends up, getting chased by the Beast. You're killing me, Smalls. We move to football-themed movies, of course. Number 6, how about another underdog story? Rudy. Sean Astin plays Rudy Rudiger, who grows up in a poor Irish home and dreams of going to the University of Notre Dame. Rudy does not catch a break and has to work hard every day of his life. All he really has is his best friend, and he dies working in the plant. After being rejected 3 times, he finally gets accepted into the University of Notre Dame. Rudy gets ready for his football tryouts and ends up making it as a walk-on. He does not play or suit up for a single game until the last game of his senior year. On his one and only play, Rudy sacks the Georgia Tech quarterback and gets carried off the field. Sorry, spoiler. Best part of the movie, it's based on a true story. Our next film isn't, but it's a goodie nonetheless. Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes are unlikely partners scamming players on the Venice Beach courts in basketball. Indeed, White Man Can't Jump's title conveys all that's edgy and playful about the film, although underneath is a pretty sober tale of 2 men who need to grow up. In the case of Snipes' Sidney, that means becoming a responsible father and husband. As for Harrelson's Billy, maturity comes in the form of committing to his Jeopardy-obsessed girlfriend, Gloria. White Man Can't Jump is wise about the insecurity beneath the trash talk. For these guys, ruling the court is far easier than navigating real life's financial and emotional hurdles. A must-see this holiday weekend if you've never watched it before. Number 4 on my list of my top 10 sports movies, Miracle. Going back to the real-life stuff here, this movie was based on possibly the greatest victory in sports history. The American hockey team faced off against the Soviet Union and defeated them 4-3 at the 1980 Winter Olympics. Kurt Russell portrayed head coach Herb Brooks beautifully. He was amazing throughout the movie. It was a great movie based on one of the greatest American victories, really, of all time. And then there were 3, the top 3. Even though this movie is pretty weird due to the fact that a voice tells Ray Kinsella, played by Kevin Costner, to build a baseball field by saying, if you build it, he will come. And how baseball players such as Joe Jackson just come out of a cornfield to play baseball. It really is a really great movie about a man who will do anything to have one last catch with his old man, even though he doesn't know that will be the outcome of the film. Field of Dreams was nominated for Best Picture. It makes the grade still after all of these years. The Natural, in my book, though, is the best baseball movie of all of them. That's why I have it second overall. The Natural's most lasting contribution to popular culture is Randy Newman's inspirational score, quickly becoming the go-to music for any walk-off home run. As for the movie, it was an ode to the sacred beauty of baseball. Robert Redford plays Roy Hobbs, a nearly divine being with a talent for hitting who is looking for a shot after a dark past. Will he find his redemption? Will he get the girl? Barry Levinson made some movie, The Natural. Just like that, we raced through 9 movies, foreshadowing and pun intended. Hard to leave off The Longest Yard, Dodgeball, Talladega Nights, The Karate Kid, 8 Men Out, Happy Gilmore, The Color of Money, The Bad News Bears, Rush, Caddyshack, Hoosiers, Love and Basketball, Moneyball, He Got Game, Chariots of Fire, Slapshot, A League of Their Own, Ali, Pride of the Yankees, Bull Durham, For Love of the Game, The Fast and Furious saga, and even Hoop Dreams, among many, many other films. But there can only be one. And for the longest, for me at least, it was Steve McQueen's not as well received here in the U.S., Le Mans. It has since been replaced by a movie about the same location, while the other 9 on this list can be streamed. This one, at least for the time being, when not being pirated online, you have to go to the movies to see this weekend, and that's Ford vs. Ferrari, my top movie on my list of top 10 sports movies of all time. Yes, I do think it will win Best Picture for 2019. It's that good. Ford vs. Ferrari, based on real-life entertainment from James Mangold, is gorgeous to look at. Go see it in IMAX. You might wish you could climb right inside the cockpit of those cars. And while there's plenty of fun to be had, watching cars move really fast on a small screen, 31 million NASCAR viewers can attest to that, right? Man, I love car racing. Ford vs. Ferrari, the film, has it all. Matt Damon plays plain-spoken automotive designer and entrepreneur and one-time race car driver Carroll Shelby. Shelby takes on a seemingly impossible challenge, helping the Ford Motor Company develop a race car that will rival those built by the European master, Enzo Ferrari. The goal is to win at the grueling 24-hour race known as Le Mans. Shelby enlists the best driver and racing engineer that he knows, the English-born, Los Angeles-based Ken Miles, played by Christian Bale. What happens next is known to racing enthusiasts, at least, but should be left as a surprise to everyone else. The movie works as an entertainment for dozens of reasons, not least of which are the performances. They took the American dream for a ride. This one now has raced into my heart and takes the checkered flag in this speedy top 10 list. I'm Bobby C. Enjoy the holiday weekend. Stay tuned. More Open back after this.